Hey there, and welcome to the Flourish and Health podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I am so glad that you are here. I'm so excited. This is my second week doing a video podcast. So I am still learning, and I'm probably going to look at my notes a few times. So please give me a break as I continue to do this, but I promise I will get better. But I just wanted to thank you for joining in. And just quick before we jump into the full episode, I just want to remind you that the Flourish in Christ course is now ready and open for enrollment. I'm so excited. We start on March 1st. So I'll put the link in the show notes so you can learn all about it. But really, it's a time where you get to have that chance to learn how to take care of you, to focus on those Christ-centered habits to help you live a full and flourishing life that you so desire to have. And so we get to walk together in this wonderful course, and all the details again will be in that link that I hold in the show notes so that you can read about it and decide if this is something for you. I tell you, I learned so much about how important it is to take care of me. And now that I have done that, it has made such a different change in my life, such an impact. So I want to help you do that. So make sure to check that out and reach out with any questions that you have. I'd love for you to join us. Hi, and welcome to the Flourish and Health podcast. My name is Stephanie Book, and I am so glad you are here. My hope is to help others see their life beyond where they currently are right now, move away from places where they feel stuck, and empower them to move into a flourishing life. Together, we will learn to recognize our true identity in Christ and apply a reframed mindset to combat the lies that we've been believing about ourselves. We will walk the journey of flourishing in our health, in mind, body, and our connection with God. I'm so excited to walk this journey with you as we create new habits of thinking and turn toward a life that is flourishing. So today we're going to talk about disappointment and redirection. I'm coming to you today with a healed heart as I am recognizing the growth that I've had in my personal journey as I've learned how to deal with disappointment. The Stephanie several years ago would have looked at something that didn't come to fruition as I had imagined it, that there was not a lack of interest in something that I was doing or a place that I was hoping to grow and it wasn't happening. I would look at that as a failure. I would be the one that would beat herself up, tear myself down when I didn't see something happen the way that I wanted to be. And I would just beat myself up and look at myself as a failure, not the whole process of it, but just me. I would break myself down. I would doubt my worthiness. And now sometimes I still will spiral into that, but not as far as I used to, because I've learned how to catch myself and learn how to step into the idea of growth and looking at why is this happening for me rather than to me. That has been a big change in my life. And I've been able to catch that spiral before it goes too far down. Like I might feel it. I might say, oh my goodness, I'm not feeling worthy. I can't believe that this didn't happen. Why is this not happening for me? And then I realize, wait, I'm making that about me. And I get to stop, breathe, and refocus and look at, wait, how is this happening for me? And what am I learning from that? What growth can come from there? So how did I get there? Well, lots and lots of work on myself. Learning how to reframe my mind and look for something that is happening for me rather than to me takes practice. And I continue to move through this. Like I said, I'll still kind of fall into that trap, but it does get easier. And I want to help you. That's my hope, is to help you get to that point where you can walk through this easier as well. So I'm going to share a few tips on how you can reframe your mind and learn how to look at something different when disappointment comes. So we're going to take a little bit of time today. I'll give you a few different things you can practice, ways that you can prepare yourself for when disappointment comes, and hopefully it will help you as you move through your journey. Okay, so here we go. If you're not new to me, you're probably going to guess what number one is. What is the number one step? Practice gratitude. Told you. Gratitude can change so much of what is happening to you or around you. What do you see that you can celebrate in a situation? What focus can be shifted to see something you don't want and open your eyes to something that is good that you can celebrate, something that is around you that you can focus on that's good? One of my mentor coaches talked about an illustration about a blank piece of paper. So I want you, if you are listening to me at home, I want you to take out a piece of paper. If you're watching this, just a plain white piece of paper like this. Okay. And we were talking about this piece of paper and what we see on the paper. So I'm going to take a moment now and I'm going to draw. You can't see my face. Draw a big black dot in the middle. Okay. So I want you to do this as well. So I don't know, my Sharpie is not working so well, but here. So, okay. So now when I'm holding up this piece of paper, what do you see? Our eyes are completely drawn to that little black dot, wherever it is. This is very strange on a computer. So, okay, right? But what we are missing is all of this white space that's right around. And so when that disappointment comes, when something comes, we focus on this only that little tiny black dot, when we have a whole entire piece of paper that's blank, open and wide for opportunity, for growth, for gratitude. So we get to look at, I'm not thankful maybe for this little thing that's happening to me right now, but all of this space here is parts of me that are good. Now you might have extra black dots. You might have a couple extra black dots on there, but again, in the scope of life, there's not very much there. So I was telling one of my coaches about this, and then she has been able to use this concept and be able to help her on her journey. And so she started sharing it with some of her clients. And one of her clients actually reached out to me and said that he has heard about this before, but he had a little bit different perspective. And he said that he had a beautiful photo that he had looked at. And then when you draw that black dot on there, it draws us away from all of that beauty that is surrounding. It's the same concept, but I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. So let's take this. So here's a picture of my family. And this is very precious to me because it's my family. So again, it's a beautiful picture of us in our little town on the bridge, but I'm going to put this little purple dot right here. And what am I going to focus on? Oh, that purple dot. Or, oh my goodness, I could look at myself. Oh, I just don't like how my sandals fit here on my, I just think I should have worn a different color, right? Immediately we'll point out the negative instead of looking at what the positive is. And that's what we do with life. And until we can learn how to be like, there's an entire wonderful thing to be thankful for here. And that little purple dot that I drew up here is nothing. It's amount to nothing with everything that's here. And so that helps us when we have gratitude. It helps us look at things differently. It helps us see a different light, a different perspective, a twist on what we're seeing and what we're looking at and what we're going through. And that gratitude flips that switch, right? And helps us focus on what is good. So I love this quote. I'm going to read it here. It says, gratitude can transform common days into thanksgivings, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. That's last name Ward. I don't know what rest of it. I don't know. I can't find the rest of the quote, but anyhow. So, and a verse that I wanted to highlight for this step is give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. And that's 1 Thessalonians 5:18. My friends, practicing gratitude absolutely can make a difference, shift the perspective, and help you see things in a different light. So I suggest, I talked about this before, start a gratitude journal. Take a piece of paper, a Post-it, it doesn't matter. Write down a few things that you're grateful for every day, regardless of the circumstances. Remember the white space or the beautiful photo and see that all there is to be thankful for in that little tiny dot, those little things that are going wrong for you right now is just a blip in the screen. So the second one we want to talk about is embrace change and growth. Another big area I talk about, right? Because embracing the change has moved me so far. When I stop and take a few moments to see the growth over the years, we can realize how much we have gone through, and whatever we're currently walking through can make a whole difference, can change that whole perspective of what we're seeing, what we're doing. So I was thinking about this and like, how can I explain this? How can we look at looking and changing the perspective? So let's say that you are on a road or a trail, and you might have just been walking and it might have been very difficult. Have you ever been on a trail where you're walking through something and it's super difficult? Like it's really hard, or maybe it's like you had to walk in a bunch of snow, or there was a bunch of rocks, or whatever it is. It was a hill, it was hard, right? So you continue to move forward because you have a destination to get to, and then you might come to a point where you're like, oh my goodness, this is so hard. Like, how can I go any farther? But then we look back and we're like, we absolutely do not want to go back the way we came to get to the finish line, right? We've gone so far, we're recognizing what we've learned, how we've grown through that trail. So we've come along the way, and honestly, we don't want to go back and redo all that, because we want to get to the end. And so we get to shift our focus and change our perspective on how we're looking at things. We get to embrace the change. And I think growth is similar to that. We can learn from where we have been, but it can only be part of the moving forward. Like, we can only just have a glimpse or remembrance of what's back behind us, but that's not going to help us move forward. It's just like, I was trying to use a different explanation, but I really think that the idea of the rear view mirror, driving with that rear view mirror, you're going to crash if you're looking back behind you the whole time. So we get to embrace the growth that we've had, the changes that we've walked through, and allow us to propel us forward, and have what's behind us. It's part of our journey. It's part of our growth, but it doesn't define what's coming ahead. But it's just ways that we can learn lessons to move us forward. I hope that makes sense. But I thought that was a good way to help us recognize, just to continue to move forward and not allow that what's behind us get in our way. So Alan Watts says, the only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. And in scripture, in Romans 8:28, it says, and we know that all things God works for good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. Take a look at the past and write down what growth and positive changes it's created for you. Help it use that to reframe your current disappointments with the hope you have gained from the growth in the past. Okay, so I want you to do that and flip that switch. The third one is practice self-compassion. Okay, listen, I'm going to stop. Stop beating yourself up. Oh my goodness, so much this. And I'm saying that to me right now, because I know that I keep looking at my prompts here so that I can make sure I have everything that I want to say to you. And so I'm saying this, but I'm also thinking, oh, they're seeing me look at my notes. They're seeing me look at my notes. Stop doing that to you, and stop doing that to me. I'm speaking right over myself right now. Oh my goodness. It's not about beating ourselves up anymore. We are so quick to put ourselves down, to pick ourselves apart, and anything we think we have done to mess up something. Now, I know we don't do everything perfect, and there's no room for growth and correction as we navigate life if we don't have those mess ups. But don't you dare put yourself down for trying to move forward. It takes so much courage to go through anything and bring us out of a comfort zone. But why do we so quickly see what we've done wrong and never see the good? It's just like this, right? It's just like this, seeing the dot. It's so hard to do this backwards. See that purple dot, right? It's looking at that, and we're focused on the negative, looking at the first things that we think that we've done wrong, and that's the first thing we look at. We might have an entire day of wonderful choices, wonderful things ahead, great, exciting things. And then one disappointment comes, one little blip. You said something you shouldn't have said. Something didn't come to fruition as you wanted. A yes turned into a no, whatever it is, right? And we immediately put ourselves down, beat ourselves up, compare ourselves to all the people around us. Well, that worked for them, or that worked for them. I'm like, stop. No. Your journey, the courage you're taking to move forward in anything that you're doing, we'll celebrate that. We'll bring in that gratitude. We'll flip that switch and say, how can I grow? How can I learn? And then we get to celebrate the changes that we've made, the progress that we've made. And that's what we get to focus on. Okay? Brene Brown said, talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. Talk to yourself like you would someone you love. Got it? Talk to yourself like you would to someone you love. You need to start speaking to yourself the way that you would speak to others, right? Sorry. You would never speak to someone else the way that you put yourself down. Just challenge me on that. I just want you to stop beating yourself up. Don't speak to yourself in a way that you would never say to your friend. Don't do it. because you are important, you are valuable, and there's no reason for putting yourself down. We make mistakes, of course we do, but that doesn't define who you are. That is not your worth. That is not what you should be doing. You would never beat your friend up for something that she did that didn't work out perfectly, right? So stop doing that for you. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weakness, so that Christ's power may rest on me. 2 Corinthians 12:9. My tip for you is to learn to recognize when you are speaking something ill over yourself. Say it out loud and pretend you just said it to your friend. I bet you won't be able to really fully say it out loud once you're open to recognize what you're saying. It takes practice, but even catching what you say one time a day is progress. So remember to see the growth, not the mistakes. Catch yourself and stop beating yourself up. And the last one is focus on what you can control. This is a big one. It's so easy to focus on what we can't control and then spiral down. Ask yourself, what is this disappointment doing for you? What is the truth of the situation, the true facts, not the emotion? Name the truth and then create an action step for your next step. The disappointment or misstep does not define your worth, your value, or even the outcome. The past does not define your future, but the direction in which you choose to focus will. When we shift our focus on what we can control and have the future set before us, the path is less muddy and it's more clear. You won't get stuck in the quicksand, but the path, even if it might be narrow or small, it will be more open to see. Brian Tracy says, you cannot control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude toward what happens to you. And in that, you will be mastering change rather than allowing it to master you. Oh, so good. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Philippians 4:6. My friends, we want to learn to shift our perspective and look for the ways that we can grow in the situation. Look for ways of it's happening for us, not to us. And the last one that I would want to encourage you to do, last tip, would be to seek support and perspective. There's nothing like reaching out to a friend for them to redirect you toward the truth. Even though I have been working on this for a long time, I can still see myself sometimes needing that friend to help reframe my mind so that I don't slip back in the old ways. It's like the lifeline, right? When I need the lifeline to what is that game show that used to be on? You had to call a friend, right? So you had those lifelines because sometimes you need that help, you need that support. So when I'm at a point and I'm letting that inner voice speak louder than the truth, I'll call for reinforcements. When we're not able to reframe our own minds, sometimes our friend or a mentor, a counselor, someone like that is going to be able to help you do that. And that's why it's so important to surround yourself with others who want to grow, that want to learn like you, because that community that you surround yourself around, they are the ones that are going to be able to help walk you through some of these disappointments, because sometimes we do need help. We want to make sure that we're talking to God and we're praying about this situation, but sometimes we need that little nudge from that friend, that lifeline to come in and say, hey, let's look at this at a different perspective. Let's look for the white space around that black dot, right? So even as I continually share things about you and the growth of my identity and my purpose, I still can slip into that despair and severe judgment of myself. So this is why I call on my friends, people that can say, hey, you're in a spiral of negativity. I hear self-pity. I hear you framing things in a way that don't sound right. My friend, don't you dare say that about yourself, right? A problem shared is a problem halved. It's an unknown quote that I really, really enjoyed, and I think it's so true. Two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. For if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. So my challenge for you is to write down a few people in your life who you can trust to help you shift your perspective. Do you have a few people on your list you know well and can also speak the truth to you in love, but they can speak truth? Sometimes sharing your disappointment with others can help provide you valuable insights and comfort. I know I've been called out and reaffirmed when I reach out to those who care about me, and they have my best interest in mind, but they can say, "Hey, step out of this, Stephanie." If you're not sure where you have those trusted people, if you don't have that community, please reach out. I know community is so important, and it's been huge for me and my growth and my change and all of this mindset work that I've gone through. But the community that you create, the people that you surround yourself with are the people that are going to help you in that situation. So if you don't have people in your life that are surrounding you in that way, please reach out to me. I would love to connect with you and be able to help you through that and help you find other people that can be in community with you, that can help call you out when those things arise, when things are hard, and be like, "Hey, let's stop talking about my friend that way when you're saying those things about you." It's not okay to call for help. It's okay to say, "Hey," raise your hand and say, "Hey, pray for me today. I'm having a rough time. I'm stuck in this stinking thinking, and this disappointment is hard, and I don't want to be there anymore." You don't have to do that alone. So my friends, please reach out. If you're feeling that way, I don't want you to walk through it alone, because you are valuable and wanted and amazing. And I want to make sure that you know how to walk through what you're walking through and not feel alone. My friends, I hope that this was helpful. And again, excuse my learning as I do these videos, because it's a learning process, a learning process. I'm a work in progress is what I think. I'm trying to say them together. But honestly, that's what I'm doing. But I thought I'd rather step into the fear and do the things that maybe are uncomfortable for me. Look at the gratitude that I can have, having an ability with a microphone, and have this beautiful office that I can be in and share what I've learned and hopefully help you. So I hope you're forgiving in my stumbleness as we go through this, but I want you to make sure that you're hearing how important it is to take care of you and to be able to look at these disappointments, things that are coming at you. And I'm not making light of the things that might be in front of you. And it might not be a simple little thing as, oh, that little dot on my photo of my family. It might be something that's very hard for you to walk through right now. But I'm telling you that there's always a way you can shift that perspective. You can look at the gratitude. You can be appreciative of the things that are good for you, because I guarantee there are things all around you. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that you will pass this on to anyone you think it would encourage, because that's my heart. That's my passion, to be able to help others see their value and be able to walk through this journey of life maybe a little bit easier by having the tools and support that you need to get through it. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fabulous week, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Thank you so much for joining me as we walk towards this life of flourishing. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and would love, love, love for you to take a moment to subscribe to my podcast and maybe even leave a review. Likes and reviews like yours will allow my podcast to be seen by others and hopefully help them as they walk through their own journey of growth. So until next time, please remember that you are amazing, my friend, and you are meant to live a life full and flourishing. Take care.